All right, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. I am your host this morning, Horace, and I just want you to know we're so glad you've joined us today. Whether this is your first time or you've been with us before, we want you to know that we honor you as you chose to be a part of this diverse and open-hearted community. So, here's what I want you to be mindful of. Today's message invites us to reflect on the message for today, which is the essence of life. The essence of life. So, as we move through this service this morning, I encourage you to stay tuned for a few announcements and opportunities by our brother Alan. And later on, there's always something meaningful I want you to know that is unfolding and going on here. If you'd like to learn more about our community, submit a prayer request or catch up on past messages on the various social media outlets. So you can go to our website, um, csoCharlotte.org, and you can follow us there as well as all the other social links, such as our YouTube channel. And we'd love for you to subscribe and stay connected. So, before I pass the mic over to our wonderful and fabulous spiritual leader, Reverend Rosedale, I want to leave you with these two thoughts. The first is the energy of mind is the essence of life. Let me read that again. The energy of mind is the essence of life. And that is from Aristotle. The second is energy is the essence of life. Every day, you decide how you're going to use it by knowing what you want and what it takes to reach that goal and by maintaining focus. And that is from Ms. Oprah Winfrey. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful, fabulous spiritual leader, Reverend Rosedale.
Wow, that is phenomenal. You just described the essence of life in another bunch of ways. Nothing that we say can you not have about 50 different ways to look at it. That is phenomenal. So thank you to our awesome MC Horace DeBush, and he's our operations coordinator. So today I want to welcome everybody out there in YouTube land and saying hello to you and let you know that we are CSL Charlotte, the Mind Body Spirit Center, and you will just get your socks blown off today with this big beautiful thing. But before we get started, I must always acknowledge each culture. This week, meaning tomorrow, we're approaching Indigenous People Day, and that is how we honor the first people's wisdom. I wholeheartedly know they were the first peoples. Their wisdom, their care, their spiritual traditions shaped this world and this whole country, this whole everything about this place in a sacred way, because the ground we stand on is the nature, and I love nature, as you all know that. So their teachings remind us that health is universal. They use different things about health from nature that they probably would never use medicine for, right? So that and the earth is a living relative, okay? It's not just a resource for people to burn up and do things with. So I am really big with them when it comes to nature and the earth. So as we contemplate the essence of life, we practice care for our bodies, our community, and our planet as a whole. So the indigenous people serve the purpose. So that's why we want to mention them. So Charlotte, CSL Charlotte today honors indigenous people. So today our focus is on the essence of life. The first thing we do in our spiritual community is set the tone with an affirmative prayer. Now, First on our platform is our spiritual practitioner, Maureen Thurston. She's an emeritus spiritual practitioner where she has been well, when I met her, it was 20 some odd years. Now she must be about 27 years. So, with that being said, Maureen Thurston is called AKA Mo. So, you're going to hear a blending of this oneness with spirit as she says her affirmative prayer for us. So, Mo, whenever you're ready, let us pray.
Great. Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. So as we take a breath in and just realize that each and every one of us are divine expressions of God in action. We touch lives around us every day with what we do. And as we come together here in this amazing community, I know that each one of us gleaned from Reverend Rosedale's message what is ours to hear and what is going to feed us throughout this week. I know that this service is blessed. I know that each and every one of us bring to this amazing community our love, our light, and our wisdom in knowing that we are in the perfect place at the perfect time. So as I release this and I let it go, I know that this service is blessed beyond any type of measure. Each and every one of us are fed to the soul with Reverend Rosedale's message. And I know that we are part of this amazing community and we are blessed by being a part of it. I release, I let go, I let God, and know that it is done. And we can all affirm this simply for ourselves by simply saying, and so it is.
And so it is, Maureen. Thank you, Mo. So, next on our platform is our reader, Melissa Spiegler, aka my girl from Tennessee. Her reading captures the essence of life by blending trust, faith, and confidence. Simple words, but it's another part of the essence of life. So after Melissa's reading, listen to the song I Am by the beautiful chorus. Now, Melissa, make it do what it do.
Thank you so much, Reverend Rosedale. The essence of life. It's something that we just really always want to know exactly what brings that together. And this morning's reading is The Bridges Within, Trust, Faith, and Confidence by Reverend Rosedale Jones. Spiritual confidence doesn't come from effort or belief. It arises from the deep knowing. It arises from your felt connection to your oneness with spirit. Sometimes it arrives like a lightning bolt, a spiritual awakening that shifts everything. Other times, it grows slowly, like trust in a friend, a quiet confidence in the way the divine communes within you and as you. There are people who walk this earth with a kind of radiance. They don't preach belief or argue doctrine. They simply know. They are mystics of their philosophy. They're not the blind leading the blind. They're not even the believer leading the believer, but the knowers. And they know because they've surrendered to something larger than themselves. Spiritual confidence isn't personal. It's not something you build or prove. It's transpersonal. The more time you spend in your oneness with spirit, the easier it is to develop a revelation that moves through you like music, like wind, like grace. You don't force it or fabricate it. You simply become available to it. And when it comes, your joy won't be in controlling the outcome. Your joy will be in the feeling. Your joy will be in the sacred pulse of being love's servant. You won't need to pretend to feel what you don't. You'll simply be, and that will be just practice. You will be enough. Trust is the bridge. Some call it faith. Some trust feels gentler. It's the willingness to lean into the still small voice and follow a path that feels or seems unclear. And finally, embodiment integrates trust, faith, and confidence all together. Spiritual confidence is not about floating above your feelings. It's not about detaching from anger or guilt. It's about integrating them. Welcome every part of yourself into trust, faith, and confidence. Confidence doesn't live in denial. It lives in you. And here's a final quote. Trust builds the bridge to faith, and faith builds the bridge to confidence. And so it is.
What I want to be, I am. What I want to do, I understand. So we're going to start with a short centering. Relax your eyes by looking into your lap, maybe closing them if you choose, and take a nice deep breath and make it exhale really long. Because as the muscles begin to relax in your body, just think about this song, I Am, because it describes the essence of life in its own way. It describes it in the form of confidence. And everything that follows that phrase, I am, is exactly what and who you believe you are. So in self-reflection, know your own I am and allow yourself to experience the essence of life. The best way to do this is to affirm, I am that I am. And then decide what that is, and you are that. So I am that I am carries a lot of meanings in the essence of life. So deepen your practice and start blending your persona, which you will hear about shortly, your oneness with spirit, which you will know, and the essence of life. Blending the three. Now it's your choice. I have just one question. Are you ready to build the essence of life with everything in your entire life? Well, because you are at choice whether you choose to incorporate spiritual practices in order to blend the essence of life with everything else you do. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and take a nice deep breath and integrate your mind, body, and spirit. And as you float your eyes open back to attention, look around your space as if you're new to it, like you have not been here at all. And then allow something to connect you back to the present moment that you see. So today I'm defining another human experience that is blending the persona with the oneness with spirit and the essence of life. Now the essence is pure. It's the spiritual core, right? It's in us. The core is our oneness with spirit. When we think of spirit or God, it's not out there, it's in here. And here's a metaphor for the essence of life. The essence of life is a river. The trust is the current, but faith is the flow. But confidence is the tide in the ocean of awareness. So when we work consistently in our oneness with spirit, we create the blending of trust, faith, and confidence. So they point the way to the essence of life, and we're always a part of that. Always. We've never been separate from it at all. Never. So blending of the essence of life links us to what I call the quantum field. Okay, traditional people will call it God, but outside of us, but the quantum field is around us, in us, and we get to walk through it. And it is also considered the universe and all life, all life on this entire planet. So the blending is crucial for personal growth and spiritual awareness. So here's the thing. There are so many stories in the Bible, and the Bible is the thing that helped me to understand that humans are created in the image and likeness of God. Now, it suggests the Bible itself suggests that there is a natural connection between humanity and God, but we're connected so much that we're so close to it that it's in us. But listen to this portion of it. In the book of Genesis, chapter 1, 26, 27, in the metaphysical interpretations, which we are metaphysicians, speaks of God as a plural energy, not as a he. And it's an energy that's spoken of as a collective force, and it's saying, let us make humankind in our image. And the beautiful thing about it, here's the little verse that it reads. It says this, then God said, let us make humankind in our image and in our likeness so that they may rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the livestock, all wild animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground. So God created mankind in its own image, but it created male and female energies. Research has shown, and I'm a big research fanatic, but research has shown the reciprocal relationship between humans and God, and it shows that our essence is intricately woven into the fabric of this beautiful and phenomenal cosmic universe. See, we have all been one with this essence life since the conception that we were in our mom's wombs, right? Yes. I know for a fact that spiritual practice with my oneness with spirit is not a luxury. It's a necessity. For me, sitting with my oneness with spirit gives me all the answers I need. I already know what I need to know. What I seek, I have. What I want to know, I understand. All I wish I could, I can. Because all I want to be is I am. You heard the words in that song. And this is what I do now. So my habitual spiritual practice keeps me out of those times when I'm starting to face some lack feelings, a little fear, maybe some confusion that I used to feel more deeply back in the day. But since I've been changing and evolving, it's not as tight as it used to be. I'm very loose. In other words, I don't wait until there's a problem before I decide to connect with my oneness with spirit. Now think about this. Fear has big time limitations. The limitations that I know about it, it inhibits my oneness with spirit. And when it does that, then my clearness, my clarity, the fog comes. And then I'm not making decisions that are right. I'm making decisions like, whoa, wait, where were you? Gotta remember that. But here's the thing. Now I'm going to break down the persona. And then you'll see what the persona and oneness with spirit and the blending of the essence of life is all about. Those three things. The persona is the mask that we wear on the fear side, because we have the fear side and we have the love side, but we are always endeavoring to stay on the love side where possibility lives, where prosperity lives, where just better knowledge lives. On the fear side lives anger, hatred, jealousy. But they're two sides, but they're there. See, the persona is the mask we wear only on the fear side. That's the ego. Now, here it is. Here comes the persona now. It is not a mask on the love side because it's reality. We're true to ourselves. It's formed, which is the persona, it's formed by three things. What forms our um, ego or persona is our culture, our family, and the education or the lack thereof. All of that forms our persona or ego. Now, how does that get done is paradigm conditioning. And what it does is it creates decoys that people use, and they happen to use these things as crutches, and they call them as their problems. But they're not your problem. But that's paradigm conditioning for you to believe something outside of what's on your love side. But here's the deal. Paradigm conditioning was around all our lives, way before us in the early whatever centuries. It's been always, they have been conditioning the masses. Don't get it twisted. You are conditioned. But you can always unlearn all the things that you were taught. So paradigm conditioning creates these little decoys, which actually cause people to bypass their own happiness and their own desires that they really want for life. Most people are conditioned to work hard to be accepted by people. So instead of that, they're taking their time to see what they want, what they want, what they want. How can I do this? Without truly looking at what really works for them. So they become conditioned to follow the mainstream. All the people are now looking at, oh, Procter & Gamble makes these beautiful discs. I'm going to get that. What about your things that work for you? What do you make out of happiness? See, we must teach ourselves how to spend more time blending our persona, our oneness with spirit, with the essence of life. That's one spiritual practice right there, blending, that makes life so much easier. Blend your persona and your oneness with spirit and the essence with life, and that's your spiritual practice. That's how you create trust, faith, and confidence that transforms you. Trust, faith, and confidence does transform you, but so does anger, jealousy, and fear transforms you because you're not going to be that happy person. But if you're on the love side, yes, trust, faith, and confidence will transform you on happiness. For me, that was an easy fix. I just made time for my spiritual practices. So change your paradigm by blending your persona, your oneness with spirit, and the essence of spirit. The essence of life. And the essence of life is different for many of us because we are bio individuals. What that means is that our transformations unfold uniquely by person because it's all shaped. Our transformations are shaped by time, by places, by the conditions we run into. That's why it's different. So we always are at choice, no matter what. So the best way to feel that confidence is to know what your standards are. Paradigm conditioning is one thing, but what are your standards? So I define my standards by habitually blending my persona. Remember that, that's my ego. Sometimes that ego can get me caught up in stuff that I was not thinking about. So my persona and my oneness with spirit and the essence of life is how I defined my standards. What about you? See, taking time to blend your persona, your oneness with spirit, and the essence of life, it cultivates your trust, your faith, and your confidence. Melissa read my quote that says, trust builds the bridge to faith, and faith builds the bridge to confidence. It's important to engage in spiritual practices to connect with your oneness. That's how you build your confidence. See, blending your persona with your oneness with spirit, also the essence of life, is vital for deep trust and faith and confidence. But I'm just not saying this based on anything in particular, but research. You know, there is an increasing body of research that shows that the intricate relationship between the persona, which is your ego could be on both sides, love or the fear side, and the essence of life. And research shows that our mind and body have a natural ability to get back from hard times. That's why contemplation is phenomenal as far as a spiritual practice. Contemplation means I'm thinking, really, what am I doing? I'm trying to contemplate with me, with the oneness with spirit and I. I am contemplating, why do I do this? Well, then I need to let that go if it's not working. See, everyone knows what it takes to maintain a good health, right? But some people follow up and they care with their energy and they use their vitality, they really do. But then you got other people that follow the path of least resistance, and their attention is on self-care is very nil to none. But let's be honest, people don't just fall ill for just the sake of falling ill. You know what happened? Illness is usually the result of neglecting that self-care. It starts with a lack of movement, with poor diet. Oh, the body depends on movement. Did you know that? Because the lymphatic fluids, in order to get them all the way down and through the body, you need to move. And here's the thing. A busy mind is another problem with that. People are too busy to pause. That mind, that body, and that spirit. All this has to be fed by movement, by good food. Even though we're eating all kinds of stuff, we can eat whatever we want. But at the same time, we have to sometimes pause that mind. And to pause the mind in time, if we don't do all of those wonderful things we need to do, either way you put it, the body is going to mirror all the choices we make. So if we're looking in the mirror and we're playing the game of, I'm going to keep doing whatever I want to do because I don't want to do this because it's too much work. That's fine. Remember, the body is going to mirror that. So will the mind and so will the spirit. So in order to blend all of this, we must learn contemplation. What am I doing and how am I doing? How should I be doing? For example, let's say you want to maintain a weight that feels aligned with your desires. Then a thought comes up. Hey, wait a minute. You can't do that. You're an emotional eater. Now, what contemplation does in this place is it has us ask, where did that thought come from? Before you can believe it, you got to first figure it out, So where did it come from? So before deciding what to do with that thought, trace its origin. Well, did it come from culture? Oh, well, all of my family were heavy, so that's why I am. All of my family had diabetes, so that's why I eat this way. That's interesting. What about, did it come from family, just per se? Did it come from education? Did it come from the media? Oh, everybody wants to stay, and they're always throwing these, and they do it to all of us, throwing those delicious foods on the screen, and there's this like beautiful stuff you're seeing, burgers and stuff, and your subliminal, and oh, come on, you know what they're doing, right? So decide what to do with those thoughts. Where did I get this thought from? So I can trace its origin and say, that didn't mean much to me. So let it go. And many thoughts come from our old paradigm conditioning. It's no longer true. Once you realize that, oh, she was so mean to me when I was a kid. Well, it's no longer true. They're gone. They're whatever. You're here now, millions of miles from them. Let that thought go. Because once you get that and you start contemplating where it came from, you go, wow, now you make sense out of this thing. Replace it with a conscious affirmation. And you know what an affirmation is? Saying that something that really is true for you. Period. Dot. And if you say, I'm a loser, then it's true for you. If you say, well, you know what? I may be an emotional eater, but I can change that. That's true for you. When you pause to contemplate, you reclaim your power. If you accept the old thought as truth, you're likely to do nothing for yourself to heal your mind, body, or your spirit connection. And that's how stagnation begins. But if you examine it through contemplation, and then reframe it by making up an affirmation that works better for you to free yourself, you can make better choices with your life. That's how spiritual practice becomes transformative for us. Now, my habitual practice is this. I keep saying it. I make sure that when I'm saying little crazy things, that is this my ego or is this me? All right. So I'm blending my persona, which is my ego, with the oneness with spirit, and then the essence of life, which is within me. I let it all get together, and guess what? They start to co-create new thoughts for me. How I could feel much better. How would you do that for yourself? I do it with contemplation and self-talk while I'm in my oneness with spirit because it blends me with the essence inside of me. So I'm one of the knowers of real life, and I know that I am a spiritual being living a human experience. It's true for all of us, but I know because from what I had to learn, I developed a confidence that doesn't shout out like Melissa said in the reading. My confidence hums. That's all it does, and I can feel so good about that. But here's this. There are 4 powers that help me stay in my confidence to help me feel good about it. And that is the powers I practice are intention. What intentions do I have about wanting to do that? My silence, that is me just being able to drive off somewhere and be alone in my silence or sit in my silence or whatever I choose to do. And my trust. I trust the process of life. I don't feel that nothing's going to go crazy with us. People think, oh my God, the whole country's going to go to famine. I don't believe that. I trust this universe more than I trust the politicians and all the people, media, everything. So my trust, those are my powers. And my main part of my power is embody. So what I have to do is embody what the song says, what I seek I have, what I want to know I understand. I embody that I am, right? And how I got good at blending the essence of life was I just trained my ego or my persona. I trained it because the power of intention is the spark. That's my main power right there. My other power, and then what happens is nothing could ever begin without that intention. But it's not about forcing your will on something. It's about aligning with your oneness with spirit that always moves through you and as you from the day you were born. That is why we had the soft part on top of our head when we were babies. The power of silence now is it's the sanctuary. Spiritual confidence grows in stillness or the silence. But at first, it may feel like nothing's happening. And in the silence, a lot of people say, oh, this is not working. They get bored and they give up. And they say, and they make up excuses because it's really an excuse. I can't meditate because I have a busy mind. Well, I say, get over yourself because the mind is doing its job. The mind is you and your oneness with spirit, and it's talking 24/7. There's nobody else but you, the mind, and the essence of life, all in here. That's all it is. If we can see it that way, then all of the depressions begin to stop. So that's why I trained my ego. Because the untrained ego produces self-talk, and the self-talk is coming, whether or not it's gonna come. As long as you stay alive, self-talk is happening. And see, the self-talk that you hear from the ego that's not trained does not serve a lick of good about what you do for your greatest good. That's the main reason why I trained my ego first. Because I knew I personalize my self-talk with my own experiences with affirmations. So now, are you ready to do that now? Trying to figure out, well, let me just do this better. Because now when I get up in the morning, I get this bombard, just download of thought. Maybe when I'm fixing breakfast, you will too. You might not want to admit it, but it's happening for all of us because the mind works that way. So personalizing your self-talk with affirmations is key to making spiritual practice deeply engaging and relatable to you. But everybody, again, we're bio individuals. It's different for each and every one of us. We just have to be trained. So you're going to hear right now this beautiful example of self-talk in the lyrics of our next song. Now, it's about never shutting yourself out. Hear the song, hear the words, and especially when you're leaning into the powers of trust, faith, and confidence. Now, practice your self-talk while you're standing in the mirror. Okay, this is very, very important until you suddenly feel or see a halo on you because each of us have different modalities. Some of us are visual, some of us are auditory, some of us are kinesthetic, and some of us just feel and see everything differently. But you know what? All of those senses we have do the same thing. We can see with our hearing. Am I right or wrong? Can't you? We can hear with the way we're looking at things. So think about it. So stand in your mirror and look at yourself when as you listen to this song, as you think in your mind, see you in your mirror until you suddenly feel, see, touch a halo over your own head. Because you know, you'll hear the word you in these songs, but you means you inside you, right? Remember, that conversation is you and the oneness with spirit blending inside of yourself through the essence, right? So, the essence of life and all of this stuff. So that means now in this next song, you're going to realize that you've always been your own angel because your angel, you're going to hear that too. And I'm just letting you know so you can start making sense of your song that's about to come up. And the lyrics, you are my angel, or I found my angel, or whatever you hear, is powerful because what it's doing is it's touching something deep into your self-talk. So consider this artist that's singing as a voice channeling for your own inner wisdom as it's speaking through you with your halo. You're the one with the halo. So hear it as you speak to yourself, to your oneness, because you're talking to the energy within you and you're listening to the energy within you. Now remember, in our philosophy, we speak of angels or halos or whatever like that, but we're not referring to some winged animal that's up on top of us. We're referring to something more intimate, which is the essence of life. Angels are just an expression of our oneness with spirit, okay? So they're always felt and processed. So listen to our song, Halo. And I got my angel now. So I'm looking at me and I'm thinking about me with the halo. So I can talk really nourishing words in my self-talk when I listen to songs like that. So angels are not separate from us. They are our reflections of us. That's what mirrors do. And they blend with the essence of life. With that, remember, to feel your halo today, especially in your spiritual practice as you're driving around. You're doing spiritual practices 24/7. You just got to turn them into the love side, right? And then you can do that by adding that trust, that faith, and that confidence together. Just attune to your four powers. Remember, intention, silence, trust the process, and embody the truth. Wow, thank you so much. And just in echoing a little bit on Horace and Alan's talk, is if you find yourself returning week after week, something is feeding you well. And maybe it's a word or a breath or maybe a prayer that fell just right on you. So maybe you just felt a calm in your body that you just can't quite affirm on your own. See, we're a sanctuary without walls. We're held together by the oneness with spirit and your presence. So it's like any other sacred space. It doesn't ask for perfection, it only asks for participation. So imagine if you were hosting a gathering every single week and you paid all the things on your own. Ask yourself, how long would I keep that up? So, but we're not alone though. As each of us continue to do our donations, we flourish with ease. Maybe this is the moment to start a spiritual practice on your own to trust your financial supply and your ability to give back. All it takes is some more practice around your trust and your financial supply and your self-worth. So giving is not a demand, it's a choice and it's a sacred yes. But are you ready to say yes? Great, guys. So before we close out, today is all about the essence of life. Blend it in for the rest of the week with everything you do. This next song isn't just about self-talk. It's a training the mind. It's the blend of your ego and the essence once again. So now, like the last song, Halo points out how you feel and how you're never going to shut yourself out again and all of these things, right? And how you're going to blend yourself. But when you allow that voice of the oneness of your spirit to speak to you, really allow it, you begin to rewire your thinking about your self-talk. So when you say you in your mind, once again, this is what this song is going to be about. You, me, us. We are blending the persona, our oneness with spirit and the essence of life. So remember, believe what you say to you, and that song will go with you on all the way. Good. So listen to the song before Mo prays us out called You Say by Laura Daigle. Yes, sing to yourself. Oh, the only thing that matters now is all that you think of me, and you're in the mirror. Ha! There's your confidence. Oh, oh. And you know what? If you can't find your worth and you can't find your identity, look in the mirror and say, the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you, I find my worth. In you, I find my identity. You get it? Yay. Mo, are you ready to pray us out? And when you're ready, thank you, my dear.
I am. What a wonderful message, Reverend Rosedale. Thank you so much. And as always, your selection of music just blows my socks off. Just saying. It always fits so perfectly to the message. So I am filled with gratitude once again on this Sunday morning. And what that is for me is the ability to just say and go and know that all is well. So as I release this prayer of closure, I know that each and every one of us go into this week blessed. We are grounded, we are solid in who we are and in what is ours to do. We touch the lives of those around us with the love and the heart that we have, and it comes easily to each and every one of us. I release, I let go, I let God, and we can all confirm and own this for ourselves together by simply saying, and so it is, and so I let it be. Amen.
All right. Thank you, Mo. That was beautiful. All these beautiful, awesome prayers that came through this celebration service today. The flow, the confidence, the trust, and all of that stuff. So as we wrap up our time together, blend your ego, your persona, your oneness with spirit, with the essence of life. Use your spiritual practice to blend it all, the ego, the persona, and the essence of life. And remember, the universe is constantly supporting you on your journey. So until we meet again, use your powers to blend your ego with essence of life. And so it is.